this week's episode, we are going to talk about our favourite horror films.
Over the last 10 years?
10 years or so? Yeah, we're going to do like modern horror films because if we leave it open, we'll be talking for 2 hours. Yeah.
Easily.
So yeah, and considering it's 2020, let's go with that. From the last decade-ish.
Yeah, the more recent sort of horror movies.
Yeah.
Which, do you think there's been more horror movies in the past 10 years than there has been in the past 10 years before that?
I think they've become, like, horror films have become more mainstream. We're seeing a lot more of them in cinemas, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
A lot of remakes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes.
I think each decade is sort of known for, like the 90s, we had like the high school slashers, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream,
I
Cherry Falls,
know
all that
Last
sort of
Summer
stuff.
is awful now. It was kind of good when I was a kid, and now it's not good. It's weird.
I 100% agree. I love that film.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the 90s sort of slasher films. They're kind of like my guilty pleasure films.
Yeah.
That I watch when I'm like home by myself, and I'm like, I should watch something on my list, but no, I'll watch this film that I've seen 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last decade, there's been a lot of films about human body senses, sight and smell and hearing and things like that. Not necessarily my favourite, but there was Bird Box, where essentially if you
the remake
see it,
happening,
you're going to get killed.
That's right.
There was Don't Breathe.
What's that about?
So that's the one where they decide to rob an old man who is blind, partially blind.
Yeah.
They think, easy target, he's blind. It turns out that he was like an ex-army guy, and he like traps them in the house, and then you feel bad for this old man. You're like, you're picking on an old man, and then by the end of the film you're like, oh my god, this old man is up. Like, get out.
Just to cover like a girl with her hand over the face, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Hush as well.
Yes.
So that was a deaf girl.
Yep.
Who lives by herself, and there's like a creepy dude trying to kill her, and she can't hear, which is terrifying. So there's no like.
That's right. Yeah.
How does she know when he's around? There's no like. There's like, how does she know? Yeah, and then A Quiet Place as well.
Yeah, Quiet Place 2 is coming out
soon this year, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they're all like recent ones that when I was thinking of movies from the past decade, I thought, deaf people and blind people and mute people and.
Taste. Has anyone done Taste yet? Oh, Human Centipede, of course I have.
Yeah. Mouth to anus. But yeah, A Quiet Place was pretty good.
I liked it. Yeah, it was good. And there's a couple of bits in that movie where I was like, hang on a second, if that's the case, and okay, they just answered that. Great. And it happened like 3 times.
Yeah.
So I was like, but then at the same time, why are they still having kids? You think that'd be like...
I think she was pregnant.
Before the invasion?
When
Gotcha.
it happened.
Okay, great. That
And
makes perfect sense. Okay, that's, once again, perfect answer.
I think. Don't quote me
I think
on
you're
that.
right. I think you're right, actually.
Or, like, I mean, there's not much to do. Like, they'd have to have, like... I don't think there would be fucking much.
No.
Once it happened. It would have to be real vanilla. Like, just lay on top of me and don't make any sound or movements.
Yeah. Hope for an earthquake.
Yeah.
That's what
That's what that would have been. There you go. See, we have to make, like, the parodies of these films. Like, you know.
Yeah. There's one called A Loud Place, and it's going to make as much... As soon as you go quiet, that's when they attack. So the whole movie is just people going, it's great to see you!
No, it'd be like, film me. I don't want to live on this earth anymore. Should we get straight into it? What are some of your top picks from the last decade? Which don't hate on us, people. We know we're missing out on a lot of things.
I know there's probably been a lot of movies that have come out. The remakes are just write-offs for me. I don't even consider them.
We don't need to talk about
like
those.
That. Train to
Busan?
Train to Busan, I think it's pronounced. Was great. I saw that on Netflix, I think. Was it on Netflix or something? It popped up.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was just scary. And the action was great, and the tension was there, and it had a great ending.
I used to hate fast zombies, but then now when I think about it, it's like, well, slow zombies aren't scary.
World War Z or Z?
Z, I didn't love that. A lot of people loved that.
I liked the structure of it. I thought it was straight to the action, straight to that.
I think that's what it was. I think it was more of an action film than a horror for me.
Yes.
So I think that's why I lost a little bit of interest. But yeah, Train to Busan was fantastic, and you know.
That whole bit when he's trying to get from one carriage to the other, he's got to like crawl along the top bit.
Yeah, it's very like claustrophobic, and you're kind of like. The whole time.
And it's like the train can't stop. Like,
yeah.
It's like Speed with zombies.
Yeah.
Right? Like just...
And it had really good reviews, but I didn't watch it for ages because I was kind of like zombied out, like early 2000s, like zombies were just like done to death. Every second film was a zombie film. And I was like, oh, a zombie film, how good's it going to be? Like the same sort of storyline in every single zombie film. But then watching it, I was just like, ooh, like I loved it.
I got stuck into it really quick.
Yeah.
It was great.
I want to throw out Sinister with Ethan Hawke.
Yes, I
loved that.
Loved it until the end. I didn't like the ending.
I liked the ending.
I thought the ending was it took a sharp turn, too much of a sharp turn for me. I was just like,
it built dread, I think.
I just love the idea of just the
very original
film reels in the house. I thought it was awesome.
So if you guys haven't seen that, super quick
Ethan Hawke.
rundown, Ethan Hawke. So he is a struggling novelist. He does true crime books. He solved a case like 10 years prior, and he was famous because he uncovered clues that the police had missed, and he's like desperately trying to cling on to that fame and write another book that's amazing, and he goes around and investigates murders and missing people.
Moves into a new house
with his family.
Finds some film reels in the ceiling. Is
yeah,
that what it is?
So he actually moves to this house because that's where basically a whole family was murdered.
Okay.
And then one child was abducted or missing.
Right.
And then he linked up all these cases that took place in certain houses around the same time and linked it all together. And Glenn said, he finds
I thought he just randomly found these things.
Yeah, no. He's actually at that house.
Yep, right.
Yeah, so essentially these videos show the people
like families being killed. Like pushed into.
But you're not really sure who's killing them. And then the more he gets into it, the more like a sort of supernatural presence or the boogeyman.
Yeah.
He sees like
it gets pretty zany at the end. I thought that the final, so the very end was just like.
Nah.
I don't know.
Loved it.
Yeah. I will watch it again. I want to watch it again actually.
It has a lot of like symbolism, a lot of like little things that you notice, but you don't have to be like paying attention real hard to notice. It's like it's quite easy to watch and it's fun in a horrific way. But basically, what ends up happening is there is like a what do you call it? An entity?
Something like that. Is it a devil or something? It's some sort of demon.
It's like basically like a old folklore about a ghoul that steals children and eats them, essentially. And he f***s up by moving into the house by making himself basically the next in line for it to happen. I won't say anything more than that.
Ethan.
Yeah.
Hawke.
Dickhead.
It's good. I really loved it, but the end put me off, unfortunately. So that's kind of lost a few points. But
and I think the music, like the score,
yeah.
It's not really a soundtrack as much as it's just sound effects.
Noises.
It's very like you'll understand when you see it, but the sound in this film makes the film.
Okay.
It's very like I was about to click it, but that won't make any sense. But we'll show. Check this out. It's terrifying. Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Yeah.
That's right up there for me.
Who's the young guy in that? Was he in Into the Wild, I think? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? The kid guy? Is it, anyway, I'm sure it's a guy from Into the Wild. It's a good actor.
It's an actor who's in other films.
I loved him in that thing. I saw him in.
One time.
The Jane Doe thing was good. It wasn't great, but it was very good.
See, this is one of those films where I watched it and I was like, yes.
Okay.
And then I showed it to like 10 friends and they were all like,
it's
good. And I was like, no, it's fantastic.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I think Jane Doe, The Autopsy of Jane Doe will be right up there for me for like modern horror films.
Stephen King loved it apparently.
Did he?
That's
he says that about every film ever.
I know.
Every horror film ever.
Yeah,
I love it. So yeah, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, it's like when you're a little kid and you watch like Indiana Jones and it gives you like that adventure thing. Like as an adult watching a horror film, I felt like that. Oh, what's gonna happen next?
Nice close-ups, like the close-ups in the movie when they're like doing their dissections, all that.
Yeah. So essentially, the name kind of gives it away. A corpse comes into a funeral home, and a father and son autopsy duo team. Need to find out the cause of death, and as they are cutting up the body,
clues on her, like is it tattoos or things in it, like notes in her mouth?
Essentially, the more they cut into her, the weirder it is.
Yeah.
The least close
doesn't
they
it
get
passed,
to.
Doesn't that whole thing get passed into someone else? Isn't it some weird... How's it end? There's some weird ending.
Can't go where the end.
Ah, okay. I can't remember.
It's
I can't
good.
remember the ending.
It's fantastic.
Does a fire start? Doesn't it get... Because it was underground.
They can't...
They're in this underground sort of like...
I don't want to say what
It's a cool location.
is.
It's a cool location.
Because I don't want to, like, give it away. But the effects in this film are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There's another movie just getting onto the whole mortuary type of thing, and I think it's... Is it called Mortuary? I think it is. Tobe Hooper directed it, and there's a scene, it's like creepy as hell, like they're dissecting this woman, and she jumps up out of the bed, and she's all this like deformed and messed up, and she just like and just like walks across the room, and it's the creepiest thing you've ever seen. It's good.
I'll have to look that
Check out that. I think it's called Mortuary.
Also, sure. Pathology, talking about.
I know that. I haven't seen it.
It's good. It's more like a thriller horror, but watch it. We'll talk about that later.
Similar
it's really
to
good.
Jane.
Completely different.
Oh, okay.
But also a very good film.
Okay.
The Void.
I've not seen it. It's meant to be. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's like
a
weird sort of like.
It's like
neon demon type of thing. Isn't
it? But like a million times better. It came out in 2016. It's a sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
Mystery. There's like, so basically, it starts off in a hospital, and then there's a murderer or there's a guy with a gun, and you're worried about them, and you think, oh, it's going to be this sort of a film, and then that changes, and then there's like all these cult members coming in from outside, and then you're like, oh, it's going to be that sort of a film, and then there's like a creature, and you're like, oh, it's going to be that sort of a film, and then it's like a gateway to hell, and you're like, oh, it's going to be that sort of a film. It has every fucking thing you can want in a horror movie.
Okay.
And the kitchen sink, and it's still done very well.
Okay.
It's like it takes you on a ride for sure.
I'd watch that.
I like it.
Okay.
It's like, I think as soon as I watched it, I was like, this is going to be an instant cult classic.
Yeah.
People are going to love The Void.
Conjuring?
Yes, we can't do the last decade without talking about the Conjuring universe. So James Wan's one of my favourite horror directors.
Yeah.
I love pretty much everything he's ever made.
Fast and Furious?
No.
I
don't watch that. Is it horror?
No.
No. Again, no. It's just fast and angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speed and anger.
No.
Conjuring was good. It's weird because I actually love the Conjuring 2 better than the first one. Mm-hmm. And when I first saw the Conjuring 2, I was like, this is good. And I went back to watch the first Conjuring, and I'm like, it's not as good as the second one. It kind of felt like timid compared.
Yeah. I think when The Conjuring came out and I saw it at the cinema, and I thought, oh yeah, here's another horror film, and then I left being like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes, awesome. This is what we needed, something fresh, like based on true stories with a fresh perspective, shot really well. And the thing that James Wan does really well, in my opinion, is like time period pieces, obviously. Like the first one set in like the 60s, 70s, I think. Yeah. But what he does is, like in the first one, there's like, it's like a family of 7 or something, and you feel for the characters, you relate to the characters, he gives them like a good backstory, so when things happen you actually genuinely feel for them.
The clapping scene is probably my favourite bit of the whole movie, when she's walking around the room and around the clap game, and then you see these hands come out of the closet and and you're like, whose hands are those?
I think the most brutal bit is at the very end when she's having the possession done and she has the sheet over her head.
Yes.
And the chair just rises from the ground and then she just spews blood.
Yes. What's the bit? They're under like the house and you see like a vision of like this like old witch woman sort of devil face, and it's just like, what is that?
Yeah, and also there's a scene on top of the dresser where the young girl gets up because her little sister's... And you actually see the witch. And again, in horror films, most of the time they'll turn away, or you know, you're seeing things, but you don't expect it to be there, and then they're like,
it's good.
So it's a great film, and I agree. The Conjuring 2 is one of the only film sequels that could be as good, if not better, than the original, which is really hard to do.
There's that one scene where someone drinks some water, and he's talking to someone else. He says he's possessed. The
little girl, It's
that really long scene, and that's great. But that story about the girls that were the
Edinburgh haunting, that's also based on a true story.
I'd seen that story in the back of a magazine when I was a kid. It scared the crap out of me. These photos of these girls on the bed, there's like this doctor on the, like, it's all black and white, and this doctor's like into the bed, and they're like jumping, and all apparently the story is the girls faked it and jumped around the room. They took photos in the air, but when it scared the absolute crap out of me when I was a kid. It was so good, and this movie like captured it. It captured again, and I didn't realize it was about that when I saw it.
Yeah,
I was watching it like, hang on, I know this story. Yeah, and it was like, far out, this is mad. So yeah, I love the second one. Was great.
Plus they called it like the Edinburgh Amityville, and Amityville's been done a lot, so it was good to
death.
Have that as a story. So the Conjuring 1 and 2, amazing. Annabelle came from Conjuring 1. Basically, like, James Wan just released a film and then it's just blown up, and Annabelle 1, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home has come from that. The Nun has come from The Conjuring 2.
I haven't seen any
which
of
the
Annabelle.
Nun was terrifying in The Conjuring 2. No,
I
was just like, oh.
They did promotion using the Nun with like that mirror effect. Like they had people like, I don't know what it was
in
like,
the
MTV
toilets or whatever.
Yeah. There's a shot in The Conjuring 2 that starts out on the street and it goes all the way through the window inside the house. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I remember that. There's a few things I remember from that movie, but I remember that.
So I'm going to say I think some of the little side stories from The Conjuring obviously aren't as good. Wasn't a huge fan of Annabelle, but then Annabelle Creation, I loved.
Okay. I haven't seen any of the Annabelle films. So
they're worth... Nun?
Are they on par with Conjuring films? Or are they kind of not?
I don't think so, but the thing is, if you go into it being like, oh, this is part of the Conjuring universe, you're going to have high expectations. If you just watch it, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
And then The Nun recently came out, which I was really disappointed in, because The Nun, I feel like, was the scariest character in The Conjuring so far. She was terrifying. Yeah. And I was like, yes, she gets her own spin-off. Yeah. It wasn't so much about Valak and like her backstory, though. It was more about other things, but it was still shot beautifully. It had some really terrifying moments in it.
I just blank of movies I've seen in the past 10 years. So bad.
So some super recent ones I've seen The Prodigy, The Hole in the Ground, Overlord.
What's A Hole in the Ground?
Hole in the Ground is...
Is that like a foreign film? Something
no, it's not. It's set... I want to say somewhere like Scotland. Jeez, I'm vague. It's shot in a really beautiful spot.
Earth? I'm sure of it.
Yeah, they were on the ground for like most of the film. No, it's quite good. It's about a single mother and her son, and she believes that her son has not been possessed so much as sort of swapped. She notices things about him, and it's kind of like Babadook in the sense that you're like, is she tripping balls, or does a mother really know?
Okay.
And things start to happen. It's quite good. Taking a Deborah Logan, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I thought they were great. Cabin in the Woods was fun.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't like it at first, and then I loved the ending.
I think most people went into it and went, oh, Cabin in the Woods, what an original name, we know what's going to happen. Yeah. Sort of has Evil Dead themes, and then you're like, oh, zombies, yay. And then once you get halfway through the film, you're like, oh my god, this is so cool, it's never been done before.
The Final Girls, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Final Girls, I'm pretty sure it is. Yep. I hope it is. That was great. That's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen that. It's a good mother-daughter story.
The only thing I'll say about Cabin in the Woods is I thought it was super creative, super original.
Yeah.
The creatures are amazing, but unlike Evil Dead that we spoke about before, where they actually give you what they promise at the end of Satan's bitch rising and eating your soul, Cabin in the Woods was like, oh, these monsters are going to rise up and take over the world, and then you don't get to see any of it.
Yeah.
So it felt like the last 15 minutes of Cabin in the Woods, I wish that was like another whole film. Like, there's so much to explore.
Yeah.
When they go to the lab and there's all the different monsters and entities, and
it's good.
It was awesome. It's like a Rubik's Cube of like
fear. Have you seen
fear.
The Mist?
Yeah.
That's pre-10. That was 2006 was it, or something? I don't know what year that was. That was a bit earlier, I think. So that reminded me of that, like the whole monsters, the way the creatures looked.
Yeah.
I thought it felt like, and same with what's the one about Arrival? Is that what it's called? With the girl communicating to the aliens, and then have you seen that film?
I haven't.
It's called Arrival. It's really good. Good science fiction. It's moving more to sci-fi, but So
I guess my tops would be Sinister, The Void, Autopsy of Jane Doe, and probably Deliver Us from Evil. Have you seen that? That's
I know.
It's got Eric Bana.
Eric Bana. I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah.
It's good though. Yeah.
Loved it.
Me and my friend were gonna go see that. It never happened.
Should have. So. I saw it at the cinema, and it's the only time as an adult that I saw a film, and then I was like, "Can you walk me to my car?" kind of a feeling. And in saying that, everyone else that I've shown this film to doesn't think it's scary. I think it's scary because I think it plays on fears that are specific to me.
Is Eric Bana American in it?
He has like a really thick Boston accent.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
It's based on a true story, I think, yeah, or something. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, just watch it. It's one of those films. Just watch it. Just watch it. It's great. I really enjoyed it. Even if you don't find it scary, it's very enjoyable. It kind of has everything. It's got gore. It's got supernatural. It's got. I don't want to give it away. It's a fantastic film. Yeah. I guess it's like an exorcism, supernatural kind of thing, but it's just everything about it. The way it's shot is really well. The music's really well. They use a lot of music from The Doors. Awesome. So that wraps up our short little video on our favourite, or some of our favourite horror films from the last decade. I know that is a big can of worms to open, and there's 100+ amazing films that have come out in the last 10 years. So maybe we'll have to do a part 2. Make sure you comment below what your favourite horror film from the last decade is, because I'd love to know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys think. And do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Just comment below, and we'll see you for the next.
My favourite part of the episode.